guys, welcome to Chartered Accountants Academy video tutorials. My name is Tapiwa and I'm going to be taking you for the revision on your mock 2. So this required us to what? To calculate the forecast financial information and free cash flow of Q brand for the forecast years that will give the maximum purchase price. And number 2, so note there's number 1 and number 2. Number 2, using the exit multiple methodology for the terminal value in RTGS dollars, calculate the maximum enterprise value. The maximum enterprise value of the business of Q brand is at 31 December 2018. So the first thing you need to know is there are 2 requirements in this question. Number 1, we just have to do the forecast financial information and free cash flows, and then we end there. And then on number 2, that's when we are going to do our valuations. Most students will get confused here and just do the free cash flow method and the evaluation all in part 1. But when the examiner gets to part 2, there will be nothing to mark. So make sure you split your requirements part 1 and part 2. So if we move on to our solution point, on our solution, the purpose of this video is to help us to come up with the solution, not to discuss the figures per se. So if I go back to the required, we're given the focus. We have sales, revenue, we have EBITDA, we have finance cost, we have capex, we have working capital. So these are the required. If you look here, we also have our depreciation, but then for the purpose of determining our free cash flows, we're going to use our sales revenue and our EBITDA. So if we go to our solution, we're going to have our sales revenue. For which years? We're given focus information as from, let's just see. So our base year is 2018, and then the focus information was relating to 2019, 2021, and 2022. So we have 2018 here is our base year, then we have 2019, we have 2020, and we have 2021. These are our what? Our focus years. So on the sales revenue, let's just put this here, right? So on the sales revenue, we're told that for 2018 it was 97. Okay, what are we going to do with this 97? We have to adjust this to confirm. So which figures are we going to adjust with? There's revenue growth here at 20.5, and also there's revenue growth adjusted for synergistic benefits at 24. Since we are determining the maximum, if you determine the maximum price, it means at 21st, what is the maximum value he is going to pay? Of which 21st will only pay a maximum of that includes synergistic benefits. 21st will not pay anything above the value that he gets after adding synergistic benefits. So we're going to be using 24% to adjust our what? Our revenue. So if you go here, we're going to say our 97 here, then we multiply it by 1.24, which is growing it. Confirm. 1.24. What else do we have? We don't have cost of sales, we don't have, and is it necessary to calculate them? I don't think so, since we have our EBIT, our EBITDA. Same applies to the EBITDA. We're given EBITDA margin. What does a margin mean? Margin means we're saying EBITDA over sales is equal to 45%. So if we are looking for our EBITDA, so this was for what? This is for 2018, but then it's also we want for 2019, 2020, and 2021, our focus periods. So we're just going to say, if you want the EBITDA, making it subject to the formula, we're just going to multiply the percentage times the sales. But which percentage are we going to take? Are we going to take the one without synergistic benefits or the one with synergistic benefits? As we discussed above, we said we're going to take the one with synergistic benefits, since we're going to be since we're going to be calculating the maximum price. So we're going to take 51, 52, and 52. And if you go to our solution, it's now just revenue times 51%, 52%, 52%. That's when we get our EBITDA. And also, understand we were given some finance costs. We have finance costs, we have capex, we have working capital. So as an exam tip, it's wiser for you to start with the cash flows that have tax implications. For example, our sales have tax implications, our EBITDA has tax implications. So if you go to our finance costs, excuse me, if you go to our finance cost, are we going to adjust for this one? This is before interest, so which means this EBITDA does not include this finance cost. But should we adjust for it? No, we shouldn't, because we are saying this one is already included in work. So therefore, if it was in there, we're going to subtract it. But since it is already excluded from this EBITDA, it means we are not going to add it. How about our depreciation and amortization? This is a non-cash item, so therefore on a normal circumstance, if you're adjusting from our net profit, we have to add it back since it's subtracted. But earnings before depreciation and amortization means these earnings are excluding depreciation, so therefore no change, no adjustments. So just make sure you state this to the examiner so that he knows you excluded them or you left them for a reason, you didn't forget. So what else should we adjust for? If you go back to the scenario, we were told about this this list. So in our agreement that commenced from 1 January 2017, in which is ending in 2020, we are paying 0.4 million, and we expect to renew this lease after it expires. But then, are we still going to pay 0.4, or we are going to go to market? Since we don't know yet, it's best that we estimate using market. Therefore, for the 2021 lease premium, we're going to assume that we're going to pay 0.5, which means we need to make a 0.1 adjustments on our cash flow so that it reflects the increase from 0.4 to 0.5, which is the market. So if you go to our solution, we now have our lease here. So the adjustment is just for 2021 when the lease expires. Is there anything that relates to any tax item? No. So from here we can calculate our taxable cash flow. So we put our figures here. From here we now calculate our tax, and on our tax we can either let's just do a working so that it makes it easier. If you make your working for our tax, so this is our tax computation working 1. So we're just going to take those figures that we got. So we had 2021, we had 2020, we had 2019 as our focus periods, and then we had our taxable cash flows, which were XXX. And then, so what are we going to adjust for on our tax cash flows? So if we go back to our to our scenario, we can see that there is a note that said, where is that note now? Okay, tax is estimated at 28%. That's very important. So we know the tax rate we're going to be using is 28%. Since we are valuing Q brand, we need to use the tax rate that is applicable to Q brand, not 21st. And also, capital allowances are expected to be the same as depreciation and amortization going forward into the focus period. So what was depreciation and amortization going forward? So if you go back to our scenario, we're going to take the one that was adjusted for depreciation and amortization to adjusted revenue. So it's going to be 3% to what? Of our revenue. 4% of our revenue, 0.45 of our revenue. So these revenue figures are the ones that we calculated over here, that multiplied by 1.24. So these revenue figures are the ones that we're going to use to calculate our tax. So we're just going our capital allowances. So capital allowances is going to be revenue times, for 20 it was 0.3, right? 0.03, then it was 0.04, and then it was 0.045. That's our capital allowances. And what do capital allowances do to our taxable cash flows? They reduce. So we must subtract what we get here, and then we get our taxable income of maybe, then we multiply, then tax at 28%. Then we get our TTT here. And this figure, since say this working one, we're going to take our tax computation to here, TTT. Then we're going to subtract it. Then we can now do all the adjustments that don't have tax implications. For example, we have this legal claim. The legal claim was said no grant, the SARS will not grant any tax deduction, which means this adjustments, this contingent liability does not have any tax consequences. So on the adjustment side, since 21st is going to purchase Q brand, do you expect it to just ignore this contingent liability, or it will have to subtract it, assuming it's materialized and they have to pay it? So this 0.2 million was expected to be paid in 2019. So on our 2019 cash flows, we're going to put our contingent liability of 0.2. So contingent liability of 0.2. Sorry, I have a very bad flu. And then what else should we adjust for? Let's go back to our scenario to find out what else we should adjust for. So here we're told about capex, we're told about working capital. So these figures are historic, but we need the figures that we're going to be using going forward. So what are we going to do? We go back to this table here. So we have capex to revenue and capex adjusted to synergistic benefits. So since we said we're going to be using synergistic benefits, our capex we're going to use 8%, 5%, 3%. Our working capital we're going to be using 2%, 2%, 2%. So we also have two possible ways of doing this. Since the examiner said capex to adjusted revenue, we're not sure whether this is the needed or is the change. So you can either do the changes or you can do the, so let's say this is now our working two, this is now our capex. So capex, we say it is going to be our revenue times 0.8, so 0.08, 0.05, and 0.03 times our revenue. Then we get our figures. Then depending on if we say this is the one that is needed, then you're just going to put this in outflow. But alternatively, let me just do in alternatively, you can say this 0.08, 0.05, and 0.03. For example, say we get 50 and we get 40 and we get 30. And then for 2018 we had, let me just see, for 2018 we had 11%. So let's just go and adjust that on our alternative calculation. Alternatively, so we said for 20, this is 2018, 19, 20, and 2021. So we said we have 0.1 here. So for example, maybe we had 60. So we are interested in the changes. So the changes from 60 to 50, this means that it's going to be going to be an inflow of 10, and here is going to be another inflow of 10 and another inflow of 10. So these changes are the one you're going to take to our cash flow calculation. The same applies to the working capital. Working capital, we're supposed to adjust for 2% and 2% and 2% for the years. So we just adjust your revenue times these ones. The revenue that we adjusted for synergistic benefits. So what else are we supposed to do after we get this? So now we have our contingent liability, we have our capex, we have our, let me just go to the next page, we have our working capital, let's put the figures here. For example, they were subtracting. So after we get our working capital, then we just add the free cash flows. Then we get our figures here. So this is where the first required asks us to do, and we should just stop here because this is what the required asks us to do. Then if you go to the second required now, we're asked to calculate the enterprise value, and for the enterprise value we're just going to take our free cash flows, and on our free cash flows we're going to present value them. Furthermore, we also need a terminal value. The terminal value, we're told that we're going to be using the exit multiple methodology, of which the exit multiple methodology was explained on this note. So this multiple, the formula was explained how it works. We just multiply the projected EBITDA in the terminal year N, and we multiply it by 7. So if you go to our calculations, our EBITDA that we had was this one here, the one that we had adjusted for. Let me use a different color pen. Let me just use a red pen here. So this one is the EBITDA, because we said from 2021 onwards we are going to be paying a lease premium of 0.5, which is same as market. So we're going to be taking this cash flow and then we multiply it by 7 to get our terminal value. And what do we do from there? We present value our cash flows. I'm sure you were able to do this. So this is now the second required. So the second required, we just start from the free cash flow is per 1, and they were x. And then our terminal value, we say it is going to be x multiplied by 7, right? And then we put our terminal value here. Is there any other adjustment? There is no any other adjustment. And then get our total free cash flows, and then we present value using our work of 12%. Since we were given the work of 12% right over here, TIB has estimated a work of 12%, so we're going to present value using 12%. After we get the present value, this is now the enterprise value, but the enterprise value is in rands. Confirm, since these cash flows are all in rands, and then the work that we used is also from SA, so we now have our enterprise value in rands. So we have to put it now, we have to translate it now to RTGS dollars, since we were told that it has to be translated. And on this translation we were told that the current rate was $1 is equal to 13 rand. So we're just going to divide the enterprise value by 13, and then we get our enterprise value in RTGS dollars. I hope you are all clear, guys. And if you have any other question, please feel free to come to CAA, book a consult, or just hit our WhatsApp. You'll be very available to assist you. Thank you guys for your time. Enjoy your day.